Aurora and Arthur Petrova, Norwich bound to visit Aunt Daria and her husband Archie. At 18 Harroway, the morning air is crisp and clear, yet the Petrova family feels a quiet, looming fear. The landlord wants to sell their home. They live on borrowed time, while Great Badow's bells provide a rhythmic Sunday chime. Petar cleans his blue glasses, his expression quite austere, feeling the precarious weight of a move that's drawing near. Albeit we are happy here, he sighs with heavy chest. Our tenure in this dwelling is a temporary guest. Maria wears her orange clothes to hide the ancient scars from a kettle accident that's left her reaching for the stars. She adjusts her orange glasses, her black hair long and straight, pondering the housing market and their impending fate. Dobarden, Petar, she says, her voice a soothing balm, trying to maintain a sense of orchestrated calm. The harvest service ended just an hour or so ago at St. John's Church, where golden wheat was standing in a row. The morning was a symphony of prayer and holy song, where the Petrova family felt they truly did belong. Petar and young Arthur sat together in the pew, thinking of the future and the things they had to do. Arthur's green glasses caught the stained glass morning light, as he wondered if their new house would be just as bright. The harvest is a bounty, Petar whispered to his son, a reminder of the hard work that has finally been done. But Aurora feels a bitterness, a sharp and stinging pain, thinking of the move from Romford, which she views with such disdain. She misses Harrow Lodge and finds Battle Hall a lesser place, a sentiment that's written clearly on her expressive face. Why must we move again, she asks her mother with a sigh, as a solitary autumn cloud drifts slowly through the sky. Maria holds her daughter's hand, a gesture soft and kind, knowing that the girl has many worries on her mind. They walk toward the driveway where the black BMW waits, a vehicle that's far superior to their former states. It's an automatic diesel, a machine of sleek design, with leather seats and polished rims that brilliantly shine. It's the successor to the Vectra, which was dismal and blue, a manual embarrassment that they are glad is through. The Vectra was abysmal, Arthur says with a small grin, like a clattering old tin can that made a dreadful din. Cade otivame? Where to? Petar asks the eager crew, as the engine gives a gentle purr, a melody quite new. To Norwich. Aurora shouts, her space buns bouncing high. To see Aunt Daria and Archie, she adds with a joyful cry. Petar checks his mirrors, his blue glasses firmly set. The drive to Norfolk is a journey they will not regret. But first, they have some errands in the local town to run before the real adventure of the journey has begun. The first stop is the car wash, the IMO nearby, where soap and water splash and swirl beneath the morning sky. Swoosh and thud, the brushes go, a mechanical delight, turning the black BMW into a dazzling sight. Arthur watches through the glass as bubbles start to grow, like a winter blizzard or a mountain capped with snow. It's like a watery tunnel, he exclaims with wide-eyed glee. The cleanest car in Essex is the one that I can see. Then they arrive at Asda, a titan of the trade, where many Sunday shopping trips are frequently made. But Petar looks at both the kids and makes a firm decree, a decision that will change the mood most significantly. Arthur, you shall come with me, he says with a stern tone. But Aurora, you must stay here with your mother, all alone. Taking both is out of the question, a chaotic, wild mistake, a risk that Petar simply isn't prepared to take. Aurora's face begins to change, a storm begins to brew, as she realizes the shopping trip is strictly for the few. It's not fair, she bellows out, her voice a rising gale, as her cheeks turn cherry red and her composure starts to fail. Petar stands his ground, his resolve as hard as stone, ignoring his daughter's loud and shrill, petulant moan. You stay here, Aurora, he repeats with a final glare, as the scent of looming conflict hangs heavy in the air. Then comes the tantrum, a horrendous wild display that threatens to completely ruin their lovely Sunday day. It's a juvenile eruption, a volcano of pure spite, as Aurora kicks and screams with all her 10-year-old might. Her screams exacerbate the tension, a loud and shrill alarm, breaking through the Sunday morning's atmospheric calm. She thrashes on the leather seat, a whirlwind of distress, leaving the interior of the car in a state of utter mess. Maria is incensed, her face a mask of burning shame, to have her daughter acting out this wild and childish game. Kakvas remota, what a shame, she cries with heavy heart, as she watches Aurora's composure completely fall apart. The noise is a cacophony, a grating, horrid sound that seems to echo off the cars and off the asphalt ground. You are 10 years old, Maria scolds, her voice a sharp rebuke. This infantile behavior is a scene I won't overlook. Aurora's vocal fury is a marred and bitter song, a signal to the world that something's going very wrong. The tantrum is relentless, a storm that will not cease, a violent disruption of the family's inner peace. Petar watches from a distance, his heart a heavy lead, with thoughts of the long journey that is lying just ahead. The situation is abysmal, a conflict most profound, as Aurora's angry sobs become the only audible sound. Eventually, the storm subsides into a jagged breath, as the tantrum meets its slow and unceremonious death. Petar takes Arthur's hand, and they walk into the store, leaving the two ladies behind the heavy BMW door. Inside, the aisles are wide and bright, a sanctuary of calm, far away from the car park's loud and vocal alarm. We need to find a peace offering, Petar says with a sigh, as he scans the many shelves with a keen and practiced eye. He finds a toothbrush, pink and purple, bright and shiny new, a gift for Aurora's trip, the best thing he can do. She's going to Hind Leap Warren soon, a year 6 adventure trek, and a new toothbrush is a tiny thing to keep her mood in check. He also finds some muffins, salted caramel and sweet, thinking that a sugary snack would be a welcome treat, provided she apologizes, Petar tells his quiet son. The healing of this family rift can finally be begun. They return to the car where the silence is now thick, like a heavy blanket or a wall of solid brick. Aurora looks up shyly. Her eyes are puffed and red as she thinks of all the nasty things that she has recently said. I'm sorry, Dad, she whispers, her voice a tiny sound, as she looks at her pink trainers on the car's carpeted ground. Petar hands her the toothbrush and the muffins in the bag, watching as her spirits finally begin to cease their lag. Apology accepted, Petar says with a gentle nod, as they set off on the journey, a path they've often trod. Maria feels the tension ease, the shame begins to fade, as the foundations for a better afternoon are carefully laid. Arthur bites into a muffin, the caramel is sweet, a perfect little victory and a delicious Sunday treat. Next stop, Norwich, he cheers, his green glasses on his nose, as the black BMW 3 Series swiftly and smoothly goes. The A140 is a ribbon through the fields of green and gold, as the beauty of the English countryside begins to now unfold. Aurora talks incessantly, her silence now a ghost, about the things in Norwich that she's looking forward to the most. Will Aunt Daria have a story? Will Archie tell a joke? She asks 100 questions in a single rapid stroke. Arthur joins the chatter, his voice a rhythmic beat, as they leave the suburban stress of their great Badow Street. Petar and Maria talk of houses and of rent, and how their hard-earned money is so frequently spent. The uncertainty is heavy, a precarious shifting sand, as they look for a new place to live within this Essex land. We will find a way, Petar says, his hand on Maria's arm, protecting his small family from any housing harm. The BMW cruises on, a bubble of safe light, through the afternoon that's turning into a soft and orange night. They enter the city of Norwich, where history is deep, where the ghosts of ancient kings and queens in stony castles sleep. They navigate the winding streets and the roundabouts so wide, with a sense of true excitement building up deep down inside. Sprowston Road is coming up. Arthur shouts with a loud cry, as the famous Norwich landmarks start to pass them slowly by. Aurora checks her space buns and her clips of bright, hot pink, feeling more ecstatic than she ever dared to think. They pull up at number 99, a house of brick and stone, a place where Aunt Daria has made a kingdom of her own. She's 56 and a half, originally from Ohio's plain, with a spirit that's as vibrant as a field of summer grain. Zdravej, Zdravi, she calls out, with a wide and welcoming arm, radiating a sense of American, Midwestern charm. Pitar hugs his sister, a reunion of the heart, knowing that no distance could ever keep them far apart. Archie stands in the doorway, a black American man, who greets the Petrova family as only a true uncle can. He speaks in Spanish sometimes. Hola, ¿cómo estás? With a warmth that's as refreshing as a cool and sparkling glass. He wears his own glasses and a grin that's wide and bright. A beacon of true kindness in the fading afternoon light. Welcome to our home, he says, his voice a deep, rich baritone, making the visitors feel like they've never been alone. The house is filled with smells of home, a culinary treat, of American hot dogs and fries that are impossible to beat. They sit around the table. The conversation starts to flow. Underneath the dining room lamps, soft and amber glow. Daria shares a story of her life across the sea, while Marija listens closely, as happy as can be. The food is a delight, a taste of a distant land, served with love and care by a very generous hand. For dessert, there's pumpkin pie, a spicy orange dream, served with a dollop of thick and cold, delicious cream. Aurora tells Archie about a video she's seen online, where a doll gets an electric shock, a story quite malign. It was shocking, she exclaims, her eyes wide with a thrill, while the rest of the table sits momentarily still. Archie chuckles softly, his eyes full of playful light, as he listens to the girl describe the artificial fright. Pitar shakes his head and gives a warning, firm and clear. Don't give us a demonstration, Aurora, do you hear? He wants no reenactments of the doll's electric fate, lest the evening's peaceful mood begins to quickly dissipate. Archie winks at Pitar, a silent code between the men, as the laughter starts to fill the warm and cozy room again. She's got a vivid mind, Archie says with a knowing grin, as the family enjoys the joyful mood they're currently in. But the clock is ticking on, and the sun has long since set. It's time to head back to the life that they cannot forget. School awaits Aurora, and Arthur has his home tuition, with Ruby helping him to complete his educational mission. They say their fond farewells at the 99 Sprowston Gate, leaving the city of Norwich before it gets too late. As the BMW heads south, the children fall asleep, with memories of the day being the treasures that they keep.